What if I told you that one player could change the very DNA of hockey itself? A player so tough, so skilled, that he became the embodiment of the sport and earned the title Mr. Hockey for it.
I'm Gordie Howe. I play for Detroit in the fastest, toughest league of any sport in the world.
This player may not have had the explosive speed or flashy moves common in today's game, but Gordie Howe's skill, toughness, and consistency shaped hockey in a way that few players ever have. Known as Mr. Hockey, Gordie wasn't just an all-star. He was a force of nature, setting records and raising the bar for what it meant to be a complete hockey player. Howe brought a unique combination of skill, physical strength, and endurance that set him apart from everyone else on the ice. When he started playing in the NHL, hockey was already known for its roughness, but Howe took it to a whole new level. He had this incredible ability to score goals and assist his teammates, but he also knew how to protect himself and his team. Opponents quickly learned that picking a fight with Howe was a mistake. They'd end up with a fist to the face as often as he'd land a puck in the net.
He didn't know that Gordie had seen him out of the side of his eye. As Louis got next to him, Gordie turned and hit him flush in the nose.
He was feared and respected, and he had a way of dominating games without flashy tricks, instead relying on raw skill and power. Howe wasn't a player who had just one good season. His greatness spanned decades. By his mid-20s, he was leading the league in scoring, and he continued to dominate well into his 40s, something almost unheard of in any sport, let alone hockey. Not only did he win 6 MVP awards and 6 scoring titles, but he also remained competitive and relevant over an astonishing 32-year career. He didn't just play hockey. He redefined it by setting records that held strong even as the game evolved. Your support is what keeps this channel going. Every like and subscribe motivates me to keep creating and sharing more with you. Being new, every bit of encouragement matters. Thank you for being here. It truly makes a difference. People still talk about Howe's Gordie Howe hat trick, scoring a goal, getting an assist, and winning a fight in the same game. It captures who he was, a player who could do it all with both skill and grit. Every shift, he brought intensity and skill, making him a constant threat on the ice and an inspiration to generations of players. Gordie Howe wasn't just good in his prime, he was extraordinary, transforming the way the game was played and what it meant to be a hockey player. If Gordie Howe hadn't risen to the level he did, hockey might not carry the same grit, intensity, and sheer power that it's known for today. During his prime, Howe didn't just play the game, he shaped its entire culture. At a time when hockey was less about finesse and more about survival, Howe showed that you could be both incredibly skilled and physically dominant. He set a standard for toughness and tenacity that players were forced to match if they wanted to compete. Without him, the physical style of hockey might not have developed in the same way, and players might not feel the same drive to push their limits every time they step on the ice. Beyond changing the way the game was played, Howe also redefined what it meant to be a long-lasting star. Before Howe, few believed that a hockey player could stay at the top for more than a decade, let alone multiple. But he proved everyone wrong.
Gordie Howe played with some of the all-time greats during his career, but the 1954 Red Wings squad was something very special.
Playing 32 seasons across various leagues and staying a leader for most of them. Howe's longevity became a new challenge for players who came after him, setting an almost impossible goal for others to reach. And it wasn't just about staying in the game, it was about remaining the best. Howe continued to dominate the league, win scoring titles, and lead his teams to success well into his later years. If he had retired early, the expectation for longevity and resilience in hockey might not be what it is today. Howe's influence even extends to the legendary players who came after him. He showed future stars like Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux that it's possible to have a full package: skill, strength, and staying power. Without Howe's example, hockey might lack the well-rounded, all-in approach that we see in today's stars. His legacy taught the hockey world that being great is more than just a good slap shot or quick skates. It's about consistency, toughness, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Howe didn't just play in the NHL, he set the stakes for greatness, inspiring generations of players to not only dream big, but to work hard, stay tough, and keep pushing year after year. When Gordie Howe started his career, he quickly made it clear that he was no ordinary player. From his early seasons with the Detroit Red Wings, he displayed a rare mix of skill, strength, and sharp instincts that set him apart from everyone else on the ice. Howe's impact was felt right from the start. He wasn't just scoring goals, he was changing the way the Red Wings approached the game. Unlike other players who might rely on just speed or size, Howe mastered every part of the game. He could shoot from anywhere, pass with precision, and he knew how to read the ice so well that he was often a step ahead of his opponents. During his early years, Howe quickly established himself as a powerful goal scorer. But what really made him stand out was his play along the boards and in the corners, where games are often won and lost. In these tight spaces, Howe was unstoppable. He used his strength to protect the puck and create scoring chances that few players could pull off. And if anyone tried to rough him up or throw him off his game, he didn't back down. In fact, Howe's physical play became legendary, and he was known for defending himself with an iron grip and, if needed, a quick fist. Opponents knew that challenging Howe was a dangerous move. He'd either outplay them or outmuscle them, whichever was needed. One of Howe's defining traits was his consistency. Even as a young player, he was reliable night after night, rarely missing games and always contributing on the ice. Year after year, he put up impressive numbers, becoming a regular at the top of the scoring charts. By his 5th season, he had already led the league in points, marking the start of a streak that would see him dominate the scoring race over the next decade. Howe wasn't just playing well, he was setting records and redefining what was possible for a hockey player. By the time he reached his prime, Howe was an unstoppable force. He didn't just score, he controlled the game. Opponents would plan entire strategies around trying to limit his impact, but it rarely worked. Howe was too smart, too skilled, and too tough to be shut down. His presence on the ice lifted his teammates and set a standard that forced his opponents to raise their level of play. Howe's prime years were a showcase of everything that makes hockey great: speed, skill, power, and resilience, all wrapped into one player who seemed almost unbeatable. His ability to perform at such a high level year after year wasn't just impressive, it was groundbreaking, making Gordie Howe a name that would forever be associated with greatness in hockey.
The world of sport has never seen the likes of a Gordie Howe.
As Gordie Howe's career continued, his impact on the game only grew deeper, and his legend expanded beyond the rink. Known for his unbreakable durability, Howe's ability to stay in the game for decades set him apart in an era when injuries often forced players to retire early. By the time he was well into his 30s, a point when most players would consider stepping back, Howe was still playing at an elite level, scoring goals and leading his team as if he were in his prime. He kept defying age and expectations, adding to his list of achievements and proving he was not just a great player, but an unstoppable one.
Size, strength, ability, coordination, everything about him was the perfect hockey player at that time.
In these later years, Howe's experience became his biggest weapon. He had seen every style of play, faced every kind of opponent, and he knew exactly how to handle any situation on the ice. Young players coming up through the league looked to Howe not just as a competitor, but as the gold standard for what a player should be. Many rookies hoped to make an impression on Howe by challenging him or testing his toughness.
Maybe some people think you're a little snobbish, but I don't actually go for the hero stuff on my behalf, because this is a job in my mind. I'm going to do the very best I can.
But most quickly learned that Howe was still as fierce and skilled as ever. He had this way of adapting his game, using his wisdom and positioning to make up for any physical edge that younger players might have had. Howe's presence was a huge advantage for his teams. His ability to control the game, anticipate plays, and set up his teammates made him invaluable even beyond his scoring abilities. He mentored younger players, setting an example with his work ethic and his never-give-up attitude. Howe wasn't just focused on his own success, he wanted his team to win, and worked hard to lift up everyone around him. This leadership and selflessness added a new layer to his already remarkable career, showing that he was more than just a talented player. He was a teammate everyone wanted on their side. Even as he approached 50, Howe stunned the world by coming back to professional hockey to play alongside his sons in the WHA, a decision that added another unique chapter to his career. Not only did he play, but he continued to perform at a high level, scoring goals and proving that age was just a number. His career didn't follow the usual path. He redefined what it meant to be an athlete, breaking down barriers and showing that With determination and passion, greatness could be achieved at any age.
Gordie Howe for me has been bigger than life.
In these years, Gordie Howe solidified his legacy, not just as a legend of the game, but as a symbol of resilience and dedication that would inspire generations to come. Gordie Howe didn't just set records. He created a legacy so powerful that it still shapes hockey today. His achievements on the ice stand as some of the most impressive feats in sports history, and his records didn't come easy. They were the result of decades of hard work, relentless dedication, and an incredible level of skill. Howe became the first player in the NHL to reach 1,000 points, a milestone no one thought possible at the time. By the end of his career, he had racked up over 800 goals and nearly 2,000 points, numbers that seemed almost untouchable. Beyond the numbers, Howe's influence extended to every aspect of the game. His physical style of play laid the groundwork for the modern power forward, a player who can not only score, but dominate physically as well. Howe had this way of combining strength with precision, something players and coaches would study and try to emulate for years. Today, when players are praised for their ability to do it all, score, pass, defend, and throw their weight around, it's a reflection of the style Howe pioneered. Howe's impact wasn't limited to his own team or even his own league. His move to the WHA to play alongside his sons made headlines worldwide and brought new attention to the sport. He wasn't just extending his career for personal glory. He was helping grow the game of hockey, spreading its appeal to new audiences, and showing that the sport was more than just a young man's game. His presence in the WHA boosted the league's popularity and eventually helped pave the way for its merger with the NHL. In a way, Howe wasn't just a player, he was an ambassador for hockey, using his influence to expand the game's reach. In the years since he retired, Gordie Howe's legacy has only grown. Younger players who never saw him play firsthand still look up to him as a model of toughness, skill, and longevity. His nickname, Mr. Hockey, isn't just a title. It's a symbol of everything he brought to the sport and everything that players still aspire to be. Howe's story goes beyond personal achievement. He set a standard for excellence, and every time a player pushes through a tough season, leads their team, or sets a new record, they're following in Howe's footsteps. Gordie Howe didn't just play hockey, he defined it, and his influence will be felt for as long as the game is played. Gordie Howe's prime wasn't just defined by his impressive stats, it was marked by a remarkable ability to adapt to any style of play. Whether the game was fast-paced or a grind, Howe could switch gears effortlessly, making him unpredictable and almost impossible to shut down. His versatility meant that he could handle any opponent and any situation, turning tight games in his favor with a single move or well-placed shot. Few players in his era, or any era for that matter, could adapt on the fly the way he did. And this adaptability became a major advantage in his prime years. Another distinct quality of Howe's prime was his deep understanding of physical control. Not only did he have the raw strength to overpower opponents, but he also had an incredible sense of timing and positioning. This allowed him to stay balanced and ready, even in high-pressure moments, rarely being caught off guard. His physical presence wasn't just about brute force. It was about knowing when and how to use his strength to maintain control of the puck and the pace of play. This level of control gave him a powerful edge, one that set him apart from players who relied solely on speed or agility. During his peak, Howe also became known for his mental resilience, a quality that went beyond just playing through injuries. His focus and determination were unshakable, even in the face of intense rivalries or relentless opposition. No matter how aggressive the other team was or how rough the game got, Howe's mentality stayed sharp. He had this unbreakable confidence that he could overcome any challenge thrown his way, which kept him calm and effective in situations where others might falter. This mental strength made him a leader on the ice, guiding his team through tough games and inspiring confidence in his teammates. What truly set Howe apart in his prime, though, was his almost instinctive playmaking ability. He didn't just move with the puck. He created opportunities from seemingly nothing, using split-second judgment to change the course of a play. His vision on the ice was unmatched, allowing him to make passes and shots that no one else saw coming. Howe's prime years were filled with these unexpected plays, where he'd set up goals or make a sudden move that left his opponent scrambling. This kind of creativity wasn't common in his time, and it added an extra layer of danger to his game. Finally, one of the most unique aspects of Howe's peak performance was his ability to combine offensive and defensive skills seamlessly. While many players focused on one or the other, Howe excelled at both, often switching between offensive drives and defensive maneuvers with ease. His defensive awareness meant that he wasn't just a threat in scoring, he was also a force in preventing the opposition from gaining any advantage. This dual impact, able to change the game both by scoring and by protecting his team's lead, made Howe a complete player and gave his prime years a balance rarely seen in the sport. His ability to play both ends of the ice with equal impact became a benchmark for what it meant to be an all-around star. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more content like this, please consider liking and subscribing. This is a brand new channel, and every video you see here is the result of countless hours of research and the hard work of just one person. Your support means the world and will help me keep bringing you well-researched, quality content on the legends you love. Thank you for watching.